Hello, happy preppers, and welcome back to Doom Without Gloom. Today we're going to be discussing how to preserve our deer head. In this case, I'm going to be doing that with a doe. I've seen videos for doing that with a buck, but in this case, I didn't want to mess up a good buck head if it doesn't work out. So I thought I would try this with a doe, and this will actually honor the life of that doe also, and might make a nice little trophy to go along with my bucks as well. What I did on this one, instead of doing a full caping job where you would normally remove from the nose and peel back, I've actually already cut this one and decided that I should make a video. So what I did on this, very simple, I just essentially cut along the bottom from the neck to the tip of the jaw, and then I slowly peeled, like I flipped it upside down, and I slowly peeled these away, cutting as I go. And then, the trickiest part is kind of along the eyeballs. And what I did is when I got to the eyeball sockets, I actually just stuck my knife in along here from the outer side. That was much easier to get along that rim on each side. And then you just finish pulling over the eyeballs and take that right off. And then now you've got your creepy little Bambi mask and your creepy little skull with the eyeballs. So what we're going to do now, I just want you to see what we're looking at here. So there's still a fair amount of meat on that and everything, and the eyeballs I'm going to leave in. But I'm going to put this in the ground just like this, and I'm going to check it in 2 months. And I want to see just what kind of result we get. And I'm hoping that I don't have too much brown stain, and that it actually looks pretty good, and that'll be much faster than the typical videos I've seen where they leave the hide on and they say that takes at least 8 to 10 months. So, and I don't have the patience for that, honestly, and especially not if it's going to come out with a bad result. So we're going to go ahead and go dig our hole, put this in the ground, and see how it goes. All right, now for our more sensitive viewers, you might want to look away for this part because I'm calling an audible, and then because the name of the game is speed, I want this to decompose as quickly as possible. And the eyeballs are, they can handle the moisture, to put it lightly. So I want this to decompose as quickly as possible. So for about 10 seconds, go ahead and look away, because what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and poke out the eyeballs to get that fluid out of the eye, because I want those critters and those worms and everything, I want them getting in there and getting the job done as quickly as possible. So look away. So yeah, I mean, it looks like, I don't know, just looks like jelly, clear jelly. So I apologize if if that gets to you, but I mean, I figure to some extent, if you've made it this far that you're skinning a skull, you're going to be a little bit tougher than the average bear. So anyways, that's what we're going to work with. So basically got the eyes poked out, kind of gross. So brain in, eyes poked out, leaving all the tongue and everything else is in there. All right, now let's go put this in the ground. Now, unlike a lot of preppers, I don't have a massive 40-acre farm where I can just put stuff wherever. So I have this garden box, which I actually haven't been using in a few years. I used to have some strawberries in here, but all the critters ate them. So, but even for most people, you're doing your deer hunting in the fall. So this is usually going to be, you're done with the garden anyways. And I think the garden is an excellent place to put it, where you've got easy soil to dig. You're going to have a lot of worms and other bugs that have been there munching on roots all year long. And so I think that this is going to be an excellent place to put our skull. And also, in my case, like, this will hide it from the wife, family, whatever, that might think that this entire thing is disgusting, that I'm even doing this. I'm sure nobody else deals with that, do they? All right, so I've got our skull down in the ground now, and I've decided that since this is for science, that I'm going to go ahead and I have no real use for the hide at this moment, and I actually just want to compare the breakdown of the skull versus the hide so that we see just what you get in 3 months of that. So I go ahead and push the dirt in. Now I decided not to bury this too deep because I'm afraid that if I bury it too deep that I'm going to stick that shovel right in on top of it and I'm going to break my skull I've been working on. I got some more dirt over here. Love playing in the dirt. All right. So here we go. We've got that, and then I'm going to take this old Coleman cooler that I have, and I'm going to throw that right over the top on the center. That way, I'm afraid that it could blend in a little bit too much later, and so I kind of want to know where my center's at so that, like I said, I don't want to bust nothing up with my shovel if it becomes hard packed. And then I've just taken a landscape rock from the backyard around the air conditioner, and I threw that on there because I want to keep that from moving. We can get some pretty good winter weather sometimes here in Missouri. So I'm actually going to let this go for 3 months because this is November 17th. And in 2 months, that would be January 17th. And January 17th in Missouri tends to be in the negatives. So one, the composition is going to be slowed way down because of the freeze. And two, I might not even be able to dig it out. And I don't want to be out in the cold, especially not if I'm trying to shoot a video. So I'm going to come back in February, February 17th or so, and I'm going to dig this up and see how it looks and see if it needs to go back in the ground for some more work.